Many years ago, my first son left home. I want to tell you what I learned from that time. My children. There are some things a man does when he is young, believing he still has time to correct them later. When I was a young man, life was not kind to us. We lived in a small house, a very simple place where nothing was comfortable and nothing was certain. There were days when we eat only once, and there were days when we did not eat at all. I remember lying on my bed at night, listening to my stomach growl, staring into the darkness, and wondering whether tomorrow would be any better than today. That kind of life changes a man. It teaches you lessons very early. It teaches you that poverty is not just about money. It is about dignity, about pride, and about the quiet fear of not being able to provide for yourself or for the people you love. One night, while sitting alone in that same quiet room, I made a promise to myself. A promise that stayed with me for the rest of my life. I told myself that I would never be poor again. From that moment, success became my mission. Not comfort, not happiness, but success. I began to walk everywhere I could find work. I took morning shifts, night shifts, weekend shifts, almost job that would put food on the table and move me one step further away from the life I feared. I carried goods. I cleaned offices. I ran errands. And I did whatever it took, because in my mind there was only one goal: to escape poverty. Slowly, things began to change. Life started improving. I began to earn more money. People started respecting me, and opportunities started opening their doors. For the first time, I felt proud of myself. I felt strong, capable, and in control of my future.
Then one day, something happened that changed my life forever. Your mother became pregnant, and we were expecting our first child, a boy. I still remember the day he was born. The hospital room was quiet, and when the nurse placed him in my hands, he felt so small, so warm, and so fragile. When he looked at me, he did not cry. He simply stared at me, as if he already knew who I was. In that moment, my heart filled with hope, and I made another promise. This time not to myself, but to my son. I promised that he would never suffer the way I had suffered.
I promised that his life would be easier, safer, and better than mine had ever been. And I meant every word of that promise. But there was something I did not understand at the time. I did not realize that providing money is not the same thing as providing presence. As my business grew, my time slowly disappeared. I left home early in the morning, before the sun rose, and I returned home late at night, after everyone had gone to sleep. Day after day, week after week, I kept walking, believing that I was doing the right thing for my family. In the process, I missed everything that mattered. I missed his first steps, his first words, and his first day of school. Every time his mother told me that our son was asking for me, I would respond the same way. I would say that I was doing this for him. And for many years, I truly believed that explanation. Then, one evening, something happened that opened my eyes. I came home early, very early, something I rarely did. The house was unusually quiet, and as I walked slowly into the living room, I saw my son sitting on the floor. He was laughing, talking and playing, and at first I thought he was playing with toys. So I stood quietly at the doorway and watched him for a moment. Then I realized something that broke my heart. He was not playing with toys at all. He was playing with an imaginary father. I heard him say, "Daddy, look at me." And then he clapped for himself, as if someone had just praised him. A few seconds later, he smiled and said, "Good job, son." In that moment, I felt something inside me shatter, because I finally understood the truth. My son had created a father in his imagination, because the real one was never there. From that day forward, our relationship began to change. There was no shouting, no fighting, no anger, just silence. A quiet distance started growing between us, slowly and steadily, until it became part of our everyday lives. We lived in the same house, but we were no longer living in the same relationship. As the years passed, he grew into a respectful and responsible young man, but he remained emotionally distant from me. Eventually, the day came for him to leave home for university. His bags were packed, the taxi was waiting outside, and his future was standing right in front of him. Before he stepped into the car, he turned to face me and looked straight into my eyes. Then he said something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. He thanked me for everything, but instead of calling me Daddy, he called me Sir. That single word stayed with me long after the car drove away, because in that moment, I finally realized what I had done. I had spent my entire life trying to give my son a better future, but in the process, I had taken away something he needed even more. I had raised a successful child, but I had lost my son. And that is a mistake that no amount of money can ever fix. There was one thing I failed to understand. I spent my whole life trying to protect my son from poverty, but I never protected him from loneliness. I gave you food, shelter, education, opportunities, but somewhere between chasing success and trying to become the provider I never had, I slowly stopped becoming the healer he needed. Children notice absence differently. Not immediately, not loudly, but quietly. The bedtime stories you've postponed, the football matches you promised to attend next time, the conversations you shorten. You tell yourself that one day, when life becomes stable, you will make up for all of it. Children grow while you are busy. They stop asking, they stop waiting, and eventually, they stop meeting you the same way. People admired me. They respected me. They called me hardworking, responsible, disciplined. But inside my own home, I had become a visitor. I still remember that little boy, smiling at an imaginary version of me, a father who listened, who laughed, who stayed, who paid attention. A child may not remember how many hours you walked, but they will always remember how present you were. Success can build a house, but presence is what makes it a home. If I could go back, I would still work hard, I would still provide, but this time I would understand something earlier. A child does not only need a provider, a child needs a father. Someone who is there, someone who listens, someone who notices, someone who stays. One day the money will no longer matter. The promotions will fade. The meetings will be forgotten. But the moments you missed will remain exactly where you left them. And one day you may realize that you gave your child everything except yourself. Do not only build a better life for your children, build memories with them inside it. Thank you for watching. See you next time on Life Lessons with the OGs.